Alright lads and lasses, welcome along to another Summit for the Weekend. Hope you're all keeping safe, staying indoors and all that. It's really important to take care of yourselves. So a question I get asked all the time is, what's normal? What's normal, eh? Is that normal? I don't know myself, Sometimes I get asked those questions about work and about the data that we deal with. And normal is a really important thing with data. So what people mean is denormalized and normalized. Now, I'm not going to get into what the difference is and what it means, and I'm definitely not going to cover too much of it in this because it wouldn't make sense. And what I'm finding, the more I do with Power BI, the more we can, is depending on the system that you come from, you're either going to have to normalize or you're going to have to denormalize. So the right thing to do is to start to get your head around what a data model in Power BI needs to be. So what's a tabular data model look like? So we've got the two types of data we started with, yeah? So we've got our original flat file that we use. This one was from the confirmed cases, the COVID confirmed cases. We've got a nice flat file there. And then we do some wizardry with it and we, crunch it around a bit and reshape it. And that then becomes a data model. Sometimes though, you might have to take a really complicated set of tables and change it into something that's going to be more efficient for a tabular data model. So that's why I'm saying, don't get too head up on denormalized, normalized. What you need to be thinking in terms of is, what do I need to do to this data to make it work in Power BI or as a tabular data set? Read. Let's have a look at what I mean, eh? So we'll bring it back and we'll have a look at it in Power BI. So if you remember, it's like this. And it's like this largely because I've still got the US available, as a separate data set so that I could always report on that if I really, really wanted to. But the most one we use is the all COVID. Now this is the table, this little one that looks like it's hardly there. And that's a key thing with tabular data models. So in terms of this would be what we'd call a fact table. And a fact table is where things actually happen. So something happened, an event happened. So in this case, it's a country's data reported. A country reported a number of cases at a period of time. That's our events that we're tracking, isn't it? So for that to happen, we've got to have an all geography. So we've got to have our geography. I'll make that a dimension because it's something that the event is happening in. And we have a date because that's the other thing that we care about from our dimensions is when did it happen? If you look at that from a business perspective, what you've probably got is a sales fact table. So a sale happened. A sale might have happened at a store. It might have happened at a date. Well, that's why I keep telling you, them calendar tables, you need to get one, stick with it. It's great, really important to have. But there'll be products involved in it. You've probably got customers. If you're shipping it out to customers, you're going to have customer addresses potentially. You've got maybe sales teams. I don't know how you do it, depending on your business. But those would all be dimensions around the sale. So your fact table is the actual event, a record of the event. And it pulls through and you can see everything in that we've got in here is actually hidden from the report view. And that's a really important thing to be able to do. If you're needing something in here to report on as part of what happened with the event, it might not be the right place for it. You're going to have a lot of duplication potentially. Next, we've gone through and we've got our data set pulled together from there. So we can now report on it by the geography that it happened on, the dates it happened on. If somebody turned around and said, oh, well, can you tell us the colour hair that people had who had COVID? The answer to that would be, well, no, I haven't got any people dimension. And that'd be where we'd start if we're wanting to get in and say, right, we need to get some more demographics into this, wouldn't we? We'd be able to say, oh, I want to have a people dimension. And we'd have to work something out. And we might use a people ID. So everyone would have a unique ID who had COVID. Bear in mind, there's nearly 4 million of them now. But you can do that. That's not a problem. 4 million rows of data is nothing in terms of Power BI. But as it GANs and as you work through it, if you want to do more and report on another dimension, you need to bring that dimension in. So we'd need to expand something in our fact table so that it would link that event to that dimension and we could then use it. If it's a sub-dimension of one of the other ones, we might not need to, but the important thing is that you can start to see how it all plays out. So it's really important to think about it, but as you can see, that would be difficult. I'd have to add something. Whereas, of course, I'd have to add something in my spreadsheet if I went back to my original spreadsheet. Here, the raw one, have to add something to it, but it's less of a hassle, isn't it, to add something to a spreadsheet. Everyone goes, oh, I'm going to add a column, no worries. I'm going to remove a column, no worries. Once you start doing a proper tabular data model, you'll find that's much more difficult. If you're getting all the way through into a database model, so a fully rationalized database model, you'll find there's even more rules to it. So that's all I wanted to cover today. I'm trying to do some much shorter, much more succinct videos for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. Let us know what you think of the new format, if it's working, if you'd rather something a bit longer, a bit more of a demo, let us know. But for now, stay indoors, stay safe, and keep looking after each other.